What's up, Cartef Ross here. Just wanted to give you all an update from the last video I put up earlier in the day. We did leave Montreal. We're gone. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. And shortly after I put that video up, my brother called, and he had been to Montreal before, and he was like, "Man, what's going on? What's up, man? That was a surprise to see that y'all leaving so quick. Did something happen?" And I just, I explained to him, I just couldn't adapt to that culture. And, and he was like, "Man, you can't leave Canada, man. Canada has a bunch of friendly people, man. They known for being friendly." And, he suggested I try some other parts. He was like, it's like somebody coming from another country going to New York City and they don't like New York City and they leave the entire United States. So he was like, "Man, go out there, check out Toronto." He'd been out there, had some good things to say. And I've heard quite a few other people talk about Toronto as well. And so with that said, we decided that we're going to make our way over to Toronto. We're here now.
I'm gonna stop you.
Hold on, calm. What you doing in my doggone video in the first place? But we made our way. We've been driving all day. It's about 2:00 in the morning. Made a few stops and whatnot along the way, but we just got into Toronto, and we want to try it out for a couple of days. And if things go well, we'll try and stick around 30, 60, 90 days maybe. Probably get out here before wintertime, before the snow come. But so we're going to give it a shot. I don't have no regrets, second thoughts, or nothing.
Well, I don't care.
You got your own
no, I think that, personally, it's just a culture thing as far as the French walking by and not speaking. I was fine with it. I mean, even though he says that
you were sick in bed for 3-4 days.
Well, I couldn't help
Charlie
it.
running around town seeing what was going on. You don't even
but
know what
anyway,
was going on. You shouldn't have been sick.
But
I saw all I needed to see, and it was time to go.
We have been out together, and I did notice that the people do walk by and they don't speak. But hey, it's just part of who they are. And I know a friend of mine was like, "Oh, Montreal, the people there, they're all French and they're stuck up and blah, blah, blah." But, I was like, you know what? I wanted to go there and experience it for myself. I think we could have given it a little bit more time to just really make that determination if we're going to leave or not. But anyway, he wanted to leave today, so now we're in Toronto. But I would say, if you guys want to, I would say this: do not make a decision on whether or not that you're going to, that you're not going to go to Montreal because of our videos. I will say go there and experience it for yourself and just make a determination for yourself if you like it or not. So I did that. I would actually like to go back and give it a try one more time, and just to kind of really get that experience.
Yeah, I'll send you right on back, and we gonna keep it going and stay here in Toronto. So, you know what I mean. Me and the rest of them ain't going back, as far as I'm concerned.
But I will say
more than welcome to go.
I will say, the biggest barrier is the language. So if you don't speak French, it will be a challenge. And the French typically, they typically look down on people who do not speak French. So if you don't speak French, it's going to be harder, and they're not going to be more approachable. But anytime when I said I can't even remember
But anyhow,
Parlez-vous Anglais, they actually spoke English to me, and I didn't have any problems. So again, go experience it for yourself.
I don't have any no regrets. In fact, a couple of hours down the road, I don't know what town we was in. We went into the restaurant, and
Remember that.
the old westerns when the bad guy walk in the saloon and the whole place
It's in Bricktown. I
the
think
whole
it was
place get
Bricktown.
quiet, and everybody look like I went realized they looking at us. You know what I mean? I think it far more looked like we foreigners, but or unfamiliar faces in town. But after the initial 5 to 6 seconds of like, who in the heck are these jokers? Everybody was friendly. They rolled out the red carpet. Hello, how you
I will
doing?
say that there
Where you
was a
from?
difference,
How
though,
the
when we
kids
got
doing?
there. Hold on.
Waving, talking to the kids, everything. Folks just going out of their way to speak and say hello. And I was like, you know what? Now this is what I'm talking about. So no second guessing myself with that reception. And then when we got here to Toronto and checked into the hotel, the guy asked us where we were coming from, and I was like, man, we just left Montreal. We was up there for about 5 days, and he was like, what did you think? I like, man, it was alright, man. It was okay. And he was like, do you mind if I give you my opinion? I like, go right ahead. I effing hate the French. I said, man, I understand. And again, I ain't blaming. I have no bad comments about folks from Montreal. I'm just kind of playing around, but those were true stories I just said. Just playing around. I would never put a whole class of folks, lump them all into one group. I imagine there's some great folks out there. I met a great lady named Elizabeth at the place where we got the apartment from. She was very kind and went out of her way to accommodate my request to leave. But again, we're down here now in Toronto. We're gonna try it out for a few days, and if we like it, we're gonna stick around. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe I should have stuck around a little longer, just so that we could immerse ourselves into the culture. But
And she did say that we were on the wrong side.
I didn't want to. I was like, this is a sign. I get my money back. We can use this money elsewhere where we want to be, and do it that way. So right now we're here. We're gonna get it a shot, and make some decisions over the next few days. So one thing I did learn, trying to get a place with some stable internet. And I imagine Canada has great internet. I think just the place that we was at, the apartment. I think moving forward, when I rent an apartment from a corporate company or Airbnb, I'll try a place for 1 or 2 days before I lock myself into 2 and 3 and 4 weeks. Try it out for 1 or 2 days. Make sure I like the area, because with Airbnb, they don't give you the addresses beforehand. That way I can make sure my internet is running as fast as I need it to be. And if it ain't, I'm only in there for 1 or 2 days and I can go try something else. So a valuable lesson learned,
I agree to that.
not to hang out for 30 days, sign 30-day contracts. And, but fortunately the owner worked it out in my favor. So, but I just wanted to kind of give y'all an update on where we're at, and what we're doing. Ironically, the Toronto Film Festival, I think the guy said it's happening this weekend or will be happening over the next couple of days, and a lot of festivities and events scheduled through
Started last week.
all the way through October. They have Oktoberfest and a whole bunch of other activities and events. So we're gonna get out there and see what's going on. And man, I love their accent out here. Everything they say ends with the word "a." You want some chicken wings, eh? I'm like, hey. What? Hey, I'm like, yeah, hey, I want some soda, eh? and I stopped by one of the hotels on the way. We were trying to find a hotel. Most of the places were booked up. Walked in there, and the lady was like, "How can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm trying to see if you got some rooms." "Oh no, we don't got any rooms. But hold on, sir. Let me call the hotel next door." She called the hotel next door. They didn't have any. And then she called the hotel down the road. "Hey, I got this gentleman." I can't make the accent because I don't want to be too loud and disturb the neighbors. "I got this gentleman here looking for a room. Do y'all have any available?" And the lady said, "Yeah." "Well, fantastic. I'm going to send him there straight away." And she said, "Sir, do you know where the next exit is?" I was like, "No, I don't know where it is." And she proceeded to tell me, "Go, hop on up the interstate, take the next exchange, blah, blah, blah." And you just had to hear everything she ended. A. And I was like, whoa. I love the accent, though. But when I talked to her, I realized we was heading in the right direction, far away from Montreal. So that's the update. Just wanted to share that with you. And you got any last words hijacking my video?
No. I mean, just again, go and experience it for yourself and make that determination on your own. And but I don't think it was too bad of a place.
Alrighty, folks. Until next time, I'm gonna try and update more often throughout the day. It's hard to do Facebook Live with the data rates, with the rates from my phone and all that stuff. So, but I'm gonna try and do these a little bit more often to kind of keep you posted and show a little bit more of what we're dealing with and experiencing throughout the day. So right now, everybody sleep. One is in the bed, the other two watching some movies on their iPads, and I'm about to throw them out my bed and put them right here on this floor.
Oh, and I will continue to share his videos on my page because he does such a
Man, you got to make your
sharing,
own doggone videos.
Those videos. So anyway, we'll keep you guys connected and updated to what's going on.
Deuces.
Bye.